Hey Virgs, welcome to Vivid Vibration. My name is Christina. I hope that y'all are doing well. Virgos, we have the fault line, the underworld, and the father. Gnosis, the unseen, the vow, and nectar. Virgs, I don't know, like when the fault line fell out, I wanted to go back like 2 years, maybe 3 years ago, to a Virgo read that I did. And I immediately thought how interesting it was that like this is still playing itself out because it's the same idea, right? The burning building. I think in those reads, it was just a faulty foundation, right? And you pick cracked foundations because you think that you can go in, and it was this whole idea of having a hero complex. And you can be on either side of the story, take what resonates and leave the rest. But I kind of get the feeling that you're having to face a part of yourself right now because you're playing the same cycle on repeat. And Gnosis is like this idea of deep inner knowing, and I just feel like saying like you know what you're doing, which makes it that much worse. You know what I mean? It's like you want to prove yourself wrong in an attempt to make everybody else right. But because that's what acceptance means to you. Acceptance means rejecting yourself, and I hate that, Fergs. I hate that for you, you know? Like that's not it's not an emotion that anyone should be carrying around. You know what I mean? But it is. There it is. The first step is acknowledgement. The second step is action. Right? And sometimes you just have to really see something for what it is. And usually you are the very thing that you need to actually see. That's why you like taking care of things. You don't have to deal with you. You're too busy dealing with everybody else, right? Ferks. The unseen, the vow, and the nectar. I mean, again, it's just this idea of like, okay, I just feel like having a logical conversation with yourself. I mean, I respect it. Virgo Mars. I mean, Virgo Mercury. I'm Scorpio Mars, but but I get the analytical process that goes behind any given emotion or any given action, or you know what I mean? It's just kind of like this, like you have to really see something for what it is, and then you need to analyze it accordingly, and you need to understand exactly how it's played itself out so that you can understand exactly what it is that needs to be dealt with and how it needs to be dealt with. Because if you don't pay attention to all of that shit, like how are you going to know? Right? And it's like, I feel like in this state of rejection, feeling, not feeling, thinking your way through and around, and I think taking new angles and new approaches. I feel like you got a new like a new, I don't know what it would, like what you leveled up in a game or something. You know what I mean? Like you got a new skill. You know? And so it's like in this new skill, now you have this new awareness, and now you like you just, oh, I can organize this much better now, right? Like I can, now that I know this, then I can do this and this, and then I can do that and that. You know, like there's a level of excitement that comes with this, like on the heels of this devastation, because it's like hindsight's 2020, and sometimes you don't see things for what they are until you look back and you're like, oh shit. But when you do look back and you can see things for what they are, you are so much more prepared for anything that comes to you in the future that can throw you in, like, in that manner, right? Like, nah, bitch, now I know. You can't play me. You know what I mean? It's that, like, that energy. It's exciting. Like, it just feels excited. It feels like you're ready for this thing that you've promised yourself. Because if you've known all along, like, what it was that was the issue, right? And you just ignored it because, what, you were treated like the only way you could get love from your family was to play their bitch boy. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, if I don't get that. My mom used to cackle at me and call me a little slave girl. You know what I mean? Like, but that's that type of love, that type of energy, right? Like, people will only accept me. People will only love me if I sacrifice myself on their behalf. And then we don't get anywhere and we end up going down with them. And it's just kind of like, you have to let it go. You have to let energies like that go. But in order to let it go, you need to see it for what it is. And it's just this idea of really having to see something for what it is, right? 9 of Swords, the Hermit, the World. I think you've just had to pull away. You've had to analyze, and you've had to tie it together with experience and spiritual knowledge, right? Because a spiritual Virgo doesn't just pay attention to the details of their earthly surroundings. A spiritual Virgo pays attention to the spiritual energy of the people around them. Like a spiritual Virgo is not easily fooled. And I feel like there's just this idea of like, but you didn't fool me though. I knew what was happening all along. I just behaved from this abandonment wound. But acknowledging your abandonment wound doesn't mean that wound controls you unless you give people the power to use it to control you. But Virgo pays attention. Can confirm. Okay. Virgs. 4 of Swords, 7 of Cups, 9 of Swords, 2 of Wands, 5 of Swords. Oof. Now they're in your head right now. I think you feel like, do you even have like a safe choice? The 7 of Cups is this idea of like spoiled for choice, but you don't like any of the options. Because they all feel confining. They all feel threatening. And I think that all you really want to do is like lay down your weapons and go in a completely different direction. The U-turn, right? That was your last read, wasn't it? But the 2 of Wands, I mean, it's the idea in this card that, if somebody makes a decision that negatively affects you, you have to say, okay, that that's just not who I am. That's not how I operate. And if that's who you are and that's who you want to be, like, I respect that, but I can't go down in this burning building with you. Right? And the reason you're able to do that is because you're able to recognize that it's not your weakness, it's not your lack of loyalty, it's that you were behaving from an abandonment wound that was being used to hold you, keep you in your place. Virgs. The king, the queen, the apocalypse, the comic, and the gem. Okay, well, you just had like a shit ton of cards fall out. But they all play into this read perfectly. So here we go. The comic and the apocalypse. Again, this end, this massive end that you're experiencing. But the comic is the idea that like you can find the humor in it because you're smart, Bergs. You pay attention to everything. It's intimidating how in tune you are with your surroundings at all times. You know what I mean? Like it's intense sometimes. And it's especially intense for people who want to manipulate and be conniving and use things against you, and you know what I mean, like it's extra threatening when you can't be played. But when you're not around people who are trying to play you, it's not a threat, it's a fucking gift. Are you kidding me? Like to have such awareness, to be so like such a sponge of your surroundings, and then up that with some spiritual awareness. Like, come on, Virgs, do not sell yourself short. Stop thinking about how it is that you keep getting yourself in these situations and start acknowledging why it is that you keep getting in those situations and how it is that you can very easily not do that anymore. Right? Because you already knew what was going on. You were allowing it because you felt as though that was your only means of acceptance. But that's so silly. All right, Bergs, I hope this resonates with y'all. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Please give me a like, share, and subscribe if it does, and I will see y'all again soon. Bye.